This video is sponsored by Recharge.
Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, we are doing the 120 kilometers an hour or 75 miles per hour range test in the Nio ET7 with the 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. So today we're going to find out how far this car can go on a full charge of battery. And then at the end of the video, we're going to come back to these recharge chargers, connect, and see what kind of charging speed we actually get after a few hours on the road with passive heating. That is correct, guys. No active preheating, no preconditioning of the battery in this video. We do that in a different video here on the channel. So today is all about getting that maximum range and also that passive heating capability of the car. And also, with all of that being said, I'm actually really excited to be testing the Nio ET7 because it's a large, luxurious Chinese electric car that is also quite fairly priced. So I'm pretty interested to see how this car is going to, well, fare in all of my tests in the coming week, especially since I've been driving a lot of Mercedes EQS and EQS SUV lately. I have my own Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo, the Tesla Model S, the new version. So if you don't want to miss out on all the videos I have on this car and you're excited as me, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and then hit that notification bell. So without further ado, let's get on the road and find out how far this car can go on a full charge of battery. We are now Oscar Mike heading northbound on the E6 motorway. Today's route is 213 kilometers. We're going to a place called Muel, turning around and then going back again. And if you've seen some of my range tests lately, you know, my long trip tests and just reviews, you know that we had really nice weather here in Eastern Norway and then suddenly snowstorms and then nice weather again. But you can see from the background here, there's still a little bit of snow, even though it's almost 10 degrees Celsius outside. But thankfully, the nice weather is back. So we're heading northward and conditions, as I said, are pretty nice. We also have a slight headwind of 0 to 1 meters per second. So basically completely still the wind today. No wind, no headwind. But again, as always, the wind map isn't always correct. Once we get to our turnaround point, we're gonna check out the consumption and then compare that to the consumption once we get back. Usually, but not in this car, because going into the trip computer of the Nio ET7, it isn't like every other electric car on the market where it shows you, you know, the standard kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, or like in Tesla, watt hours per kilometer. It just shows you the total consumption up here. And then you can scroll to the bottom left corner. It shows you the time and the distance. And then you have this graph up here, which shows you the current, like a graph, but there's no like per 100 kilometers for the whole trip. So that's why I'm not going to be able to update you guys. Maybe we could do that at our halfway point, but then I'll have to do some math. Maybe we'll just stop, do some quick calculations. I don't want to do math on the go. But yeah, don't know why they do this. It's not the best, not the most intuitive, and kind of hard to compare results. But again, this car is probably not made for EV YouTubers like me doing range tests. Okay, we are now here at our turnaround point. We're gonna exit the main road here, the E6 motorway. We're gonna go down to a roundabout and then we're gonna turn around and get back on the on-ramp here. So what we're gonna do is that I know that it's 106.5 kilometers to the roundabout here. I'm gonna take the consumption, divide it by that number, and then multiply it by 100. So the consumption now is 23.8 kilowatt hours in total. Divide that by 106.5 and then multiply that by 100. That gives us a consumption of 22.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We're also down to 65% stated charge, so 22.3. So the big question is now, will we have the same consumption on our way back? According to the wind map, we should actually have a little bit lower consumption on our way back because of a tailwind on our way back to Oslo. But again, wind maps aren't always that accurate, as we've seen in some of these videos. I think it's pretty calm outside. I'm guessing we're gonna have about the same consumption, but if it drops down to below 22, well, that's gonna be pretty nice. Okay guys, here we are back at our starting point, exit 51 here on southbound E6, and then we're gonna do an exit on the on-ramp up to the Esso station here, and we're going to go back to the recharge chargers where we were here on the right side. Yeah, a few of them are vacant. So if we take a look at the total consumption 18.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And you guys may be thinking, isn't that less than like when we were halfway? Yes, it is. And that is because I stopped to go to the toilet, and then when I got back into the car, it reset. But I did take a note of the actual consumption because I was like, oh, maybe that's going to happen because it says for the drive. So we're going to, at the end of the video, do the calculations. But now we're going to back up here, and then we're going to see what kind of charging speed we actually get after now being on the road for about 2 hours. The charge port is on the rear right side here, and then you press it down on the bottom and it should open. There we go. And then we're going to walk over here to the charger. We're going to use my Recharge charging chip because this video is sponsored by Recharge, the largest independent charge point operator in the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, with 4,000 charging points across all of these countries. So if you want to support the channel, there will be a link in the description box down below, and just find out where your closest Recharge charger is because they've been building out a lot of their current charging stations a lot, and also they've been building a lot of new charging stations lately. And guys, when I was saying that, you may have heard that the car's beeping. When I walk away from it, it locks automatically, which is sometimes a bit annoying. When you're just trying to go and charge, the car will actually lock, and then you can't open the charge port here. But I opened it before the car locked, so it now, well, was open. So let's see, take a look here what kind of charge speed we're gonna get. We are at 38% stated charge. And the peak charging speed of this car is around 125 or 130 kilowatts. And at 38%, not sure, I don't know, I haven't done any, charging with this car yet, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to achieve anything close to that. But now, it takes a little bit of time. It still says 0%, okay, there we go. So, there we go. Right away, we're getting 90 kilowatts, 360 volts, and 246 amps. So this seems to be the peak charging speed at 38% stated charge, around 90 kilowatts. No, it's not climbing. It's stabilizing at around 89.1, 89.2 kilowatts. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of math there because, as I've said several times in this video, this car does not give us average consumption in kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, only total consumption. So before I stopped to go to the toilet, the total consumption was 29.1 kilowatt hours. We add that to the 18.8 kilowatt hours I just showed you, giving us a total of 47.9 kilowatt hours used on this trip. We take that number, divided by the distance, 216 kilometers, multiply that by 100, we get an average consumption of 22.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Then we take the usable battery size of this car, which is 90 kilowatt hours, divide that by the consumption, and then subtract about 3% in heat loss. We get a theoretical range of 393 kilometers, which puts this car up towards the top of this chart. Very impressive, but considering the WLTP rated range of this car, it is expected, especially if you look at the Hyundai Ioniq 6 long range all-wheel drive, which has a 583 kilometer WLTP rated range and got 394 kilometers in this exact same test. So those results are pretty darn close, almost identical, except for the temperatures today being a little bit colder. So relative set, this car is actually a little bit better. Remember guys, the warmer, the more range you're going to get out of an electric car. The colder, the less range you're going to get. So this car performing this well is expected considering the WLTP rated range, but still very, very impressive, getting 400 kilometers almost, going at motorway speeds in 10 degrees Celsius and dry conditions. So guys, let me know what you think down below, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.